Here we are back at the Buick Regal once again, removing this motor. I was able to sell it, so we're gonna get her out, put a V8 in this bad boy eventually. We got the rear axle out too, so plugging away at it, disassembly of the Regal. The guy who wanted to buy the motor wanted to see it running in person, so we had to improvise. Masking tape. Start disconnecting the upper and lower radiator hoses, the transmission cooler lines, and all this electrical stuff to just have just the motor there. All right, so in the first order of business of you guys working on cars, you got to make sure you have the right tools. To remove a radiator, all you need is one of these. So with the upper radiator hose removed, we're going to remove the lower one. But first, I'm going to try to get off the transmission cooler line because it's super rusted. But if it breaks, it breaks. Who cares? You see, we have the right tool, but just in case, you needed to reuse these lines. Where this is at right now, look. You see the line is moving. So the fitting is corroded to the line. So in this case right here, you'd want to take extra careful to remove this. But for our application, thankfully, we don't really care about this line. So if it breaks, it breaks. But just a little tip for you guys, if you're moving the fitting and the whole line is moving, if you continue this way, this line is going to bend over here or break. But for us, like I said, we don't really care. It's about as hot as the Sahara Desert out here in Florida. But we got the wiring harness all removed. We split it up. Got the left side and to the right side. The whole harness is here. So now we're gonna start disconnecting this linkage here for the carburetor and then remove these two lines from the transmission just so we have better clearance. And possibly we might take off the hood too just to give us a better clearance going up. We're gonna disconnect the speed cable right now. It's this guy right here that plugs in on the side of this transmission. Luckily for us, we cut out the floor. But you just take this and spin it. And it's removed. So now we're gonna follow the transmission cooler lines from the passenger side down to the transmission, and we're going to disconnect that. All right, so we removed the plate that covers the torque converter and the flywheel. So we're going to separate these two from each other. There's a bolt here. There's probably 3 or 4, I'm not sure on this Regal, but we got one here exposed. So now you want to go to the front of the motor to turn the motor over and get access to these bolts over here, because you're going to need to turn the motor. These lines here, the transmission cooler lines, we really tried to take it off properly. It ain't happening. Cut it. We're going to remove this. I don't know if we should cut this or try to take it off with the nut. It's so rusted, but whatever. Either we cut it or we take it off properly, but it's going to get it done. So cut this off too. Just cut everything off. Fucking. And then towards the back, there's this big bar. That's your transmission cross member. We're going to have to remove that. So we'll show you once we get there, but anybody got a sponsor? Well, out of 4 bolts, we snapped 3. We got 1 out. Oh, sponsors. Oh, sponsors. Oh. Calling in the sponsors. We need a lift. Oh, sponsors, please help. Oh. All right, we got the 3 bolts from the flywheel to the torque converter, the transmission linkage, and then we're going to be removing the transmission cross member, and then the transmission should be able to come out. Everything is already disconnected. Now I'll drop the transmission and then motor mounts on the motor, and we'll be able to slide her out. All right, so we got the transmission out. As you can see, victory is ours. We loosened up the bolts for the motor mounts. So now we're going to remove the hood of the car. Once we get some weight off the mounts, we should be able to slide the bolt off the mount there, and the motor shall go up, and we should be able to pull it out. So we're very close. We did a lot. We're almost there. As you could tell, the behemoth is out. We didn't really film too much of it because this thing was kicking our ass, but that just goes to show you that you could do it yourself. If we don't know what the hell we're doing and we did it ourselves, you could do the same. So now that the motor's out, it's time to get a V8, put it in here, and get a new suspension, and this bad boy will be on the road. So stay tuned for another 13 years to see this car get on the road. If there's any sponsors out there, let me know. We're hurting. We need some chiropractor, lift, whatever, tools. So hope you enjoyed. We'll see y'all later.